Guys, I just got in one of the rarest Ninja Turtle comic books there is, and I cannot wait to unbox it and show you guys. Let me show you a few other My Turtles books first, then we're going to dive into this one. I cannot wait, and it came just in time because I'm going to be seeing Kevin Eastman very soon at the Old Man Con in Scottsdale, Arizona on November 24th. This is really exciting. Let me switch into something more comfortable and let's talk about it. And we're back. I thought this was more fitting for what we're about to talk about and reveal, but I'll be honest, I really can't see anything, so let's take that off. Shout out to my friend Eric who got me this for my 40th birthday. That's right, folks, I'm an adult. And he got me this for my 40th birthday, and I love every bit of it. So thanks, Eric. But let's talk about comics for a second. I do want to dive in and talk about the book we just got in and unbox it with you guys, but I thought it'd be great to talk about my Turtles love and collection a little bit prior. I have always been a Ninja Turtles fan, ever since I was an itty bitty kid. I mean, I love Turtles so much, my sister, even for my 40th birthday, got me a really cool Roosevelt's Ninja Turtle shirt. And I plan on wearing it when I go to meet Kevin Eastman again and on November 24th in Scottsdale, Arizona. It's not the first time I met him though. I actually met him for the first time back in 2007 at San Diego Comic-Con, again in 2009 at San Diego Comic-Con, and then a few years later at a comic book convention in Phoenix, Arizona. And every time I've met him, he's been super gracious, super nice. I mean, heck, I even got 2 original sketches right there from him. So I have so many nice things to say about him. And my love for Ninja Turtles has spawned from when I was a kid till present, where I've decided to collect as much of the Turtles comic book canon as I can. In fact, I boast pretty much a lot of the Mirage run, except for some of the later issues. And I even have the IDW runs. I have some from the Archie comic runs too, but nothing complete. But here, let me show you some of the books I do have that I think are worth talking about. First one here, I even collect the parody books. This is this is Adolescent Radioactive Black Belt Hamsters. I couldn't help but pick this up when our friends over at Presidio Comics had the entire run for sale. They're silly, they're total parody, and I think they're really fun to have. Is the IDW #1. I'm a big Raphael fan, hence the Raphael mask on there. And this one I actually already do have signed by Kevin with a little Turtles sketch on the top. Next one here is Tales of the TMT #1. And this one is also signed by Kevin. So what's really cool about this book is I picked it up out of a quarter bin the day I got him to sign this, not knowing that I was going to be able to get him to sign a book that day. Because I believe that one, there was a long wait and I didn't know if I was going to have time to stick around. But when I saw that in the quarter bin, I was like, you know, this is a sign that I got to stick around. And I think this one's pretty cool because it's a pretty rare, not rare book, but one you don't see very often. This is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Authorized Martial Arts Training Manual, which I have all these except for the elusive 6th one. That one I got to pick up sometime soon. That one's actually from a Canadian production company, so they're not easily found here in the States. And I have some books that are slabbed already. I do love collecting slabbed books, but that's not my forte. In this case, I love my Turtles books, whether they're slabbed or not. But I do have a goal to get the first 10 slabbed, and right now I'm sitting at 7 of the 10, including number 3, first printing, at a 9.8. The reason I wanted to show you guys this book here is this is a really hard book to get in a 9.8, and I got one. This next one, although not a particularly rare book, what I have with it is very rare. It's a Raphael #1, and this one is actually signed by Kevin and Peter Laird. I actually bought it pre-signed by Peter Laird, not knowing it was Peter Laird that signed it, and then I got it signed by Kevin Eastman. Well, I didn't. Some friends of mine were up there in Las Vegas for a signing of his, and he was nice enough to sign it. And of course, the creme de la creme. I do have a Turtles #1, but this is a 3rd printing, because I will never ever in my life be able to afford that first printing, unless someone out there is a weird eccentric millionaire, and you want to make a 40-year-old in a Ninja Turtle pajamas dream come true. In which case, comment down below. But this one, a 2, signed by Kevin Eastman. And this one unfortunately got it restored on there, which I was kind of expecting when I bought it, because I don't really see a lot of these, at least I didn't used to see a lot of these out in the wild. For this particular run, if I remember correctly, they did 30,000 copies. And when I got this one, I looked it over with the person I bought it from, which is my friend Eric, and different Eric, multiple Erics in my life. And I noticed when I had it in the light and I shimmered it a little bit, there was definitely a couple spots where I could tell someone went over it with a marker to hide the black that was fading out. But I didn't care. I wanted this book, and I would do it again. But now, the book you're all waiting for, and the reason you probably have gotten this far. Here it is. So I'm not going to be honest with you guys. I'm always overly transparent on this channel. I already opened it. And that's because when my package came, my youngest son was like, "Daddy, what is it?" And I was super excited and I didn't want to wait. So I showed him and paperwork. I showed him and I showed my other son which one was ambivalent, the other one was like, cool, and doesn't really know what it is. This book, like the first Ninja Turtles, which was limited to 3,000 copies, printed in 1984, this one was printed in 1986 and also limited to 3,000 copies. And the only way you could have gotten this book was by going to this event. And that event was Turtle Mania in 1986. So this is Turtle Mania Special number 1. This was a small book that was produced by Metropolis Comics. I can't remember the person's last name, but his first name was Bob. And they made 3,000 copies of this particular book. They made 1,000 copies of the silver edition that came pre-signed by Kevin and Peter. And there was only 10 copies of the elusive golden one that actually came with sketches inside of pretty much all the turtles. And I believe 1 original sketch in each of the 10 copies. This one is not an easy book to find. In fact, first time I saw it was in Vancouver, Washington, at a store called I Like Comics. I like to visit when I'm up there visiting my father. And they had one, and they were asking what at the time was, I thought, a fair price of $400. And that $400 got you a raw book very similar to this, and they were guesstimating between an 8 and a 9. Now, historically, the books I've purchased from there have either been spot on with the grade or not so spot on. So I looked at it, $400, I thought was a fair price at the time, but way more than I was willing to spend at that juncture. And from this particular shop, I got it through their eBay site, but I purchased stuff from them one-on-one before. So in this book, when they first put it on there, they were actually asking $700 for it, because they graded it a 7.0, which, to be fair, the one in Vancouver is probably an 8.0, and they were asking considerably less. But I passed up on that opportunity unless I fly back out there, which the plane ticket's going to be more than half the cost. That's no longer an option. But this one, when they're asking $700, I think this is because they threw the price on there and they were willing to negotiate. Well, I've been watching the book for quite a while, and I got a message one day. Hey, if you're interested in the book, we're willing to take $295. $295 for a 7.0 might still be a smidge high when you consider what is considered to be the fair market value. But in this particular case, and for me, I don't know when I'm going to see this book again. Kevin Eastman's going to be in Tucson very soon, and I would love to get this book in his hands to get a signature. Graded, if it was slabbed and everything, I think $300 to $400 would be entirely fair. So that $295 price mark for the raw version, sold. And again, out of the sake of transparency, I didn't buy it. This was actually a birthday present, so it was a very Turtles-themed birthday for me from my lovely mother. And the one thing with this book I will warn about, if you are an avid Turtles collector and you're looking for something very similar, be aware. There was actually a reprint, I want to say mid-2000 teens in that ballpark, and it looks almost identical. But to me, it's really easy to tell the difference once you're physically looking at it, because it's obviously newer paper, it's higher quality printing. And like, for example, with this one, without taking it out of the bag just yet, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it, but the staples definitely show some wear. In fact, that 7.0, I would say probably in that 6.5 to 7. I think it's right, but this top staple gives me a little cause for worry. But I already did take it out once. I looked at it, I played with it, did that traditional smell right down the center of the book to smell the authenticity and the quality of the paper. And I can say without any doubt, without any uncertainty, this is 100% the real deal. As a matter of fact, the Ninja Turtles that were created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird were actually way more violent and way more gory, and it was basically a telling of like true, I don't want to say shogun, but ninja and samurai storytelling. I don't know other way to put it. It was very loosely based on and related to Daredevil. For example, Daredevil was trained by someone named Stick. The master of the Ninja Turtles was Splinter. And the Turtles fight the Foot Clan, whereas the Daredevil and Elektra and all them, they fight the Hand. So, I mean, it's all loosely connected, but simply for the sake of fun storytelling and paying homage to a character that they absolutely loved. And that's what I'm doing here. I love the Ninja Turtles. It was such an important part of my childhood, such an important part of the person I was shaped to be. My first love outside of comic books was always film and movies. And the Ninja Turtles, the original one from 1990, was the highest grossing independent film of all times. And the first movie I remember seeing in theater repeatedly. I remember seeing it a handful of times. I couldn't give you a specific amount. In fact, one of my proudest possessions is a Ninja Turtles theatrical poster that I do have signed, once again, by Kevin Eastman. Granted, it's not an original production poster, but it's one that I bought when I was my first year in college to help decorate my sad student apartment. Well, there you have it. And that's the book we unboxed today, was Turtle Mania #1. Again, not the rarest book, but one of the rare Ninja Turtle comic books you'll ever find. And I'm very proud to say it's in my Turtles collection at this point. I'm even prouder to say my goal is to have it signed within the next 2 weeks by the co-creator, Kevin Eastman. This was a cool birthday present. This was a cool birthday present too. Also makes me happy. And that Roosevelt shirt was a cool birthday present. Just a cool Ninja Turtle birthday present all around. Huzzah, everybody. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for life. Well, midlife anyway. Bye-bye, everybody.